over a little bit of an oddity that I noticed. I don't know if other people do, but I did. That Russian and American trucks are often pitted against each other because, well, similar kind of large nation deal. So let's pull both of these guys out of the garage and we can go over what makes them special and what makes them them and why, well, to be quite honest, picking a winner isn't really going to happen. I know what I prefer, but it's all on the driver. Can't turn tonight. So, first of all, let's introduce our two friends. The blue and yellow truck representing the colors of Ukraine, and the Russian trucks tonight will be the Azov. This is the 640-64131. The American trucks will be represented by the Pacific P12. Both of these are somewhat similar as that they can be bought very early in the game, and both of these are very advantageous to the player that they get bought early in the game because they're both very hard to get stuck and extremely versatile. But they do different things better. Something you might notice is that the Pacific P12 sits higher than the Azov. That's not an accident. The Pacific does really sit that high. However, American and Russian trucks are in two totally different environments, and thus should at least have two totally different sets of requirements and capabilities. You probably can notice a lot different between these two. Like, for example, our P12 has this long nose and huge overhang with larger tires and only has 6 tires, where the Azov has 2 front and 4 front, 4 rear. The Azov steers with 4 tires, where the Pacific P12 has 2 guiding tires and 4 power. Let's see if I can do this. What we're gonna do is take these guys out to around. I've got other places I'm off in Michigan, but I want to use Michigan just because I like it. I think it's pretty. So when you see a Pacific P12, if I can do this right, you see how its suspension is like, I'm not even touching the ground now, and I can start easily. But you notice only the back tires were getting the power. Hello. See how the back tires are turning, the middles are trying to turn, and the front tires aren't turning at all, so when they apply more power, they get pulled up. Now, if we head back, boop, and yes, the B12 does have all-wheel drive, and the Azov's all-wheel drive is always on for those SnowRunner vets that know this. We'll get into the all-wheel drive later, but I just want to show you like how these trucks get their power to the ground. First thing you may notice is, of course, the Azov steers slow, but has 4 tires steering in the front. This actually gives it a lot of grip on the road, and it is extremely easy for this thing just to chug through a lot of stuff. So we're going to do the same thing. Get her to about the fuel tanks. See how the suspension, I'm still not touching the ground, but I'm a lot closer. However, you also notice that the frame The current frame add-on, I have the sideboard bed with the crane. We'll talk about that in a minute. So when I just barely apply power, see how all the wheels start turning simultaneously and give me power because it's always on. And its differential lock is always on too, which is a blessing in this game. You're going to run differently. Like, if you're not using this weapon, so why can't you turn the all-wheel drive off in a Russian truck where you can an American? Well, that comes down to why. It comes down to weather, really. So Russian trucks are made to deal with a lot colder environments. If you look in the cab of the Azov, there's a little kind of like, not sleeper, but you could sleep back there. And there's, behind that, those racks are actually not the engine, but more of part of the, it's hard to say. On this one, it's more of just part of the fuel tank and stuff like that. If it was being realistic, the fuel tanks are obviously down there, and the engine is under you. But because of how cold it gets in Russia, engines have to stay running because they can actually freeze over overnight. So a lot of times, places like that cab will have extra fuel, will have a place for the driver to sleep, and will obviously keep the truck warm. And in a little fun power to weight test, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use each truck once, winch it, and see how much throttle it takes to pull the truck while the truck's in reverse. To make things fair, the Pacific P12 will have her all-wheel drive active, as will the Azov, because you can't turn it on. Let's... Yeah, so that's barely anything. And I'm sure it's going to be the same for the Azov. It was a little more, but not by a whole lot. Oh, well, duh. Yeah, it was a little more, but not by a whole lot. Like, if I had to put numbers to it, the P12 probably used 10% and the Azov used 11%. But the P12 is bigger, to be fair. So, trailers. What kind of trailers can you get on each truck? And more importantly, how bad can these guys get? Well, these guys can get pretty darn good at carrying things such as the ramp flatbed trailer would be no problem. This would be like what this thing was pretty much made to, because this is just a big trailer and the P12 is literally made to haul big trailers. Actually, let's do something a little fun. Let's see. This trailer, we're gonna, again, just show off how awesome both of these trucks are. I'm not really attempting to say who's better. It's all on, you know. Okay, that works. And then we're gonna go back to the garage and we're gonna grab something. We're gonna go into our storage and we're gonna get this big boy. And we're gonna see how well this thing is. So the Caterpillar 770G is a very heavy vehicle. I selected it very intentionally because of this. And I'm putting it on a flatbed just so, like, it's not helping pull its own weight. Come on. Up the flatbed. This thing does not fit tonight. This will be interesting. Oop. Come on, go, 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 go. Yes, yes. Oh, no. Okay, better idea. I'm gonna line up and pull. Not the proper trailer for this. Yeah, that's me. Okay, maybe that truck was a little too ambitious. That's okay, we got another one. This is actually another, I believe this is Russian? Might be Yugoslavian or something. It's a neat truck. Anyway, this guy's pretty heavy too, so. Oh, look at that. No issues at all. Just went right up there. Okay, so what we're going to do is a small little pulling contest. For this... Oh, yeah, the rams are up. So this little contest, both trucks will start in about the same spot at about the truck storage. Again, I'm going to use as little power as possible to pull them. This is just to show off that, yes, these trucks are very capable. I am barely pushing the throttle, and there we go. And, yeah, no doubt, this thing pulls it no problem. And I'm going to detach the trailer. And the Azon is going to go back into the garage so it can get us out of here. Now, one thing that a lot of people will say is that, oh, you know, especially for a veteran SnowRunner, you already know, oh, well, the Azov. I don't think I actually put the trailer thing on. Oops. There we go. Now, realistically, the Azov wasn't actually made to pull trailers. It was more of a frame add-on type thing, where it was like a long distance hauler that was just made to go like, oh hey, let me just carry this sideboard bed on my back and basically carry stuff from one town to the other. Snaptastic. Alright, so here to a complete stop. Again, I am barely pushing the throttle. Again, took a little more, but I wouldn't say it was considerably more so. And even though it's not what it's made to do, I will show you that the Azov has an amazing ability to just this was made to go off-road a little more, so you can see even with the trailer, it does handle steep inclines even back in this thing. And the Pacific P12 can do this. Actually, the Pacific P12 would probably be just a little better at this, assuming I knew how to drive the trailer. Uh-oh, I think we got it stuck. And the funny thing is, it's not even the Azov's fault because the little feet are on there. Yeah. That's my engine stalled. Okay, well, let's go ahead and oh yeah, duh, I have to unpack the This is just turning silly. Be free. Oh, hello, angle. There we go. Okay, so there we go. There we go. I'm gonna have Austin Powers, aren't I? Yep. Austin Powers turning. Come on. Around the corner. Anyway, silly little displays aside, yes. Both trucks have a in-game high, neutral, low, and reverse gear along with an automatic. Both trucks can be ran in automatic most of the time, and you're not going to... Oops, I did not mean to do that, so we're just going to restore the crane. And we're just going to go to the trailer store, and we're going to sell this trailer, because we're going to need it. And then we're going to recover both trucks. Boom, boom. So that we can go over what makes them special under the hood. So a lot of the times the Russians actually use an inline. This isn't the case with the Azov, but just know that sometimes they do it. Also, this is where the exhaust and snorkel is in game, in case you didn't know. But sometimes in reality, that's not where it actually is. This does not have the ability to get a race suspension just because of how the suspension actually works with this truck. It's basically like a leaf, not your standard. Again, in game it is standard, kind of. I'm talking about both the real life trucks and the in game ones. And in real life, these aren't called Azov. I forget their name because I'm not Russian, but they are not called Azov. But that's what I'm going to call it because that's what's on the front. And of course, the first thing everyone's going to come up with is that the Pacific P12 isn't as useful as the Azov because it doesn't have as many frame mods. The frame mods are just fine on the P12. It actually has a lot to choose from. I think the Azov is the only one that can take the logging crane. They can both carry a fuel container, maintenance bed, and they both have a lot of really cool paint jobs. I'm using the this one, you know. They have fuzzy dice up here. But in short, these are both very powerful and very awesome trucks. You should be happy to have either one or preferably both in your garage. And when it comes down to it, it's again all on driver choice. I personally like the Pacific P12 better than the Azov when it comes to pulling trailers. Again, that is what the Pacific P12 is designed for, but looking at what the Azov is designed for, of course it also gets that 23 heavy crane, which is not bad at all. It does have more options, like the van body is basically its version of the maintenance trailer, but it also gets the maintenance trailer. It might be better suited for this kind of recovery role because it's not as tall. And you see it has the crane, the small crane that it can always have. And I think it looks adorable like this. I don't know why, I just do. But it's made to have kind of like this on it and just carry stuff like that, which is how I normally use it. How I normally use the P12 is just the opposite. It has the saddle high on it, and it'll carry the heavier trailers that I want it to around the map. And sometimes I'll switch it up and I'll switch this into like a recovery vehicle, though I feel like it's too tall to perform this role accurately. And I believe this does get a race suspension. No, they're both stock. And I know I'm sure the Mud Runner guys are like, but you didn't talk about the tires. Well, realistically speaking, because I'm covering both real life and in game, there's far more differences than I've come to mention here, but the main one is that this truck was basically designed to go through construction sites in mud and pull trailers. This one was designed to kind of more go through snowy and tarry mud terrain and pull like that bed behind it and have like a lot of supplies for towns and stuff like that, because the Russian infrastructure is not as well kept. And I'm just gonna end this by saying, I don't know what's going on in Russia and Ukraine, but if y'all could just please stop fighting, that'd be like awesome. Like, good for you, Ukraine, for holding out, and like Russia, why? But like, you know, a lot of good people have gotten hurt on this, so if y'all could just chill out, that'd be like awesome. Anyway, thanks for showing up for my Tulpa talk. I hope to see you next time.